The Barnegat Bay has always been an important part of Ocean County. As a matter of fact, it may be the center part of Ocean County. And we, as Ocean County residents, have all tied our roots to the bay. Many people collect ducks, decoy ducks. There's beautiful ducks that people have that are painted exquisitely. I collect working ducks, more or less working ducks. These people around here, a lot of people have retrievers. My next door neighbor has a Chesapeake and a golden. I myself have a lab. Now, these dogs are sitting with decoys, but if you thought it was dead ducks and you were outraged, good, because the bay is dying and we need to do what we can to fix it. There's also books that we read about life on the bay in the old days, back before the bay was dying, which I think started in the late 1950s. And there's some animals listed in here that I've never even heard of, never mind seen. Okay, and this man who wrote this book could have written it actually 20 years earlier than he did, but I really think his heart was too broken by what was happening to the bay. He drew some conclusions about what was happening. They turned out to be wrong, the wrong conclusions, but with the available information that he had, he did a good job. And there must be a lot of time to think while you're out working on the bay, and all he knew was his bay was dying, and he tried to figure out why. People we know, if you own your land, you don't like being told what to do on your land, with your land. But if you plant a tree and its branches are coming over onto my property, I can cut those branches down if I choose to, which would maybe be mean, but you could. So if what we're doing is killing Barnegat Bay, then do they have a right to tell us what to do with our land? And I believe they do. Now, Save Barnegat Bay. Save Barnegat Bay is a website that you can go to where they know more about the bay. We don't claim to be experts on the bay. What we're worried about is people not being able to have a green lawn, being very upset with laws that may be passed. What we are trying to do is find an answer to these problems. When I went organic, it took 2 years. About 2 years before it started working properly for me. Since then, it works great. Okay? So we found some ways to make it work great for you from the beginning. And that is what we would like to teach people here. We don't want to bring up all the problems with the bay. There's experts on that. Save Barnegat Bay. They can tell you the problems, all the problems. What we want to do is teach people how to work in the current system in a way that makes their lawn work. We want people to have a green lawn. Lawns are wonderful. They are eating carbon dioxide, which is the biggest problem right now facing the earth. But we also need to get this bay under control. The man from Save Barnegat Bay was quoted in the newspaper saying local officials don't get it. I don't think they get it either. Maybe they'll get this. Barnegat Bay is worth $4 billion. $4 billion doesn't sound like a big amount of money in today's current economic situation. However, $4 billion to this county per year, it is a lot of money. The New Jersey DEP has said that they want to make it so that the Barnegat Bay will have many years of life. And what does that mean, many years? After that it becomes a cesspool? So that's why we have to do all that we can, and that's why there is a move to limit fertilizers to slow release fertilizers, organic fertilizers, fertilizers that won't wash right into the bay, release their nitrogen for the plant life, which is choking out the bay. And so that's why we have brought organisms today, and we're going to spray them down on the lawn, so that when we start to use these slow release fertilizers or organic fertilizers, the microbes actually do the digestion, which then makes it available to your grass. So the question is, can you see your particle of land as a living ecosystem as the bay is? Well, that is what you will need to do if the bay is to survive, because what is happening with fast release fertilizers, it's often past the topsoil and the root zone before it gets absorbed by the plant, and then it winds up in the subsoil, which it's not long after that it winds up in the water table and in the bay. So a slow release fertilizer like Wow Plus, 0.7% water soluble nitrogen. So if it's only 0.7% water soluble, what is it? Fat soluble? What kind of soluble is it? The soluble comes from the microbes that live in this soil. When I came to Ocean County, I didn't have any topsoil at all. And since then, I've been using organic methods and trying to build my soil. You can see that I do have some now. Instead of putting weed and feed down on your entire lawn, which adds chemicals to the bay, we're not perfect. Why not use a spot weed killer? Spray the base of the plant or the center of the plant, and sure enough, the weed plant will die. This is especially important for dandelions. They have such deep roots. I use a mulching mower, and I always have a bunch of, I rotate 4 blades. Another thing that's very important, you want to plant the right grass seed. Keep it in a plastic bag. I had the air out of it, air came into it again. But you want to plant the right grass. Plant a grass with a deep root. This grass is Turf Alive 3. It does not need a lot of fertilizer. It does not need much care. It'll make your life easier, and it's better for the bay because it doesn't require tons of fertilizer.